Hello dear viewers, this is Hank Bedwell and I'm here for another segment of Immigration Talks. Now recently we had the opportunity to speak with Canadian immigration lawyer, Attorney Kenneth Ziegler. And we'd like to share the second part of our interview with him today. So if you're unable to watch the first part of our interview, you can find it on the main page of our YouTube channel under the playlist Immigration Talks. Now I'm sure that you're excited to learn more, so without further ado, here's how the second part of our interview went. That's beautiful because our clients, our people looking into the student pathway and looking around and what's going on because of the COVID crisis. These aspiring students who might be having doubts as to whether this is a good time for them to apply. Coming from you, Attorney Ken, what would be your advice for those people who may be having doubts whether this is a good time to apply or not?
Well, I guess we all have to look at a crystal ball, don't we?
Yeah.
Partly I'd answer that by saying I recently watched and read several articles on 6 veterans, Canadian veterans, and they were all aged somewhere between the early 90s and 95 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
These were people who had gone through really tough times that really make what's happening in today's world actually pale by comparison. These were people who went through the Great Depression, they went through the dirty 30s, they went through world wars, they went through economic collapse. And to a person, every one of them said, stay calm, soldier on.
Wow.
And that's very much, I think, the belief that people need to have is that, look, this will pass. It's understandable that given all the things that are happening, that anyone who's seriously looking at picking up and relocating and going someplace else and casting their future into a different system, it's only fair that they have some serious questions about that. But keep those kinds of people in mind. We will get through it. It will carry on. There's a significant number of people who think that the uptake after this passes is going to be significant. There are some trend lines that demonstrate that there will be quite an uptick following this. People are ready to bust loose.
Yeah.
In order for that to happen, there will again continue to be a need for skilled workers, for professional people, for business administrators, and the list just goes on and on through tradespeople, semi-skilled. There is a huge demand in the system, and it will be there as it was before. And in fact, I believe it'll perhaps even be stronger.
Wow.
It will take time, but it will work.
It's really comforting. Yeah.
There's a little bit of a leap of faith, no question. And I think we all understand that. But at the same time, the reason I mentioned at the very start institutions to you and the strength of those institutions, the fact that the government systems, federal, provincial, municipal, the banking systems, the legal systems, the accounting systems, the bureaucracy, these are solid. And
Yes.
so you say to yourself, where do I want to be? Where do I want to have my family live? I want to be someplace that when I come to a stop sign and the light turns red, I stop. When it turns green, I go.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yes. And
I'm quite bullish on this. It will work. It's not all peaches and cream. Like Filipinos, we bear down. We work hard. We'll go through a brick wall if we have to, but we will get there.
Yes. Yes, and our clients and those aspiring immigrants have been looking around, and they have observed a few things. Like for example, last month, the United States announced a temporary suspension on immigration, while Canada, on the other hand, has been mainly pro immigration in spite of the pandemic. What can you say about this, Attorney again?
Yeah. Um, Always keep in mind that on a per capita basis, Canada takes more immigrants than any country in the world.
Mm.
Okay. So those numbers currently run at about 350,000 plus.
Mm.
So in a country of roughly about 38 million people,
Mm.
every year we bump our population by about 7 to 8% through immigration.
Mm.
And next year, you know what? We're going to do it all over again.
Oh.
And the year after that, we're going to do it all over again. This is core to who we are. We
Mm.
are truly the most multinational country in the world.
Mm.
We have one of everybody and two of most, and it's just the way it is.
Wow.
And I don't see that changing. The debate is going to be how much more we are going to bump those numbers. Right now, they're fairly significant. The Minister of Immigration has announced, as you're probably aware, that following 2021, 2022, those numbers will continue to increase. So
Wow.
part of those numbers will be the student pathway. Part of those numbers will be skilled workers. Part of those numbers will be tradespeople and so forth. Part of it also, I think, is to look at trend lines and say, following what we're going through currently, what areas are going to really demand a lot more skill and labor. And there are some sectors where we see some significant growth,
Mm.
um, and they're
You-
going to need people. So the when you bundle all where we currently are, will continue, and that is we will take more immigrants per capita than any other country in the world.
Wow. Wow. In your opinion, Attorney Ken, do you think Canada has done enough, or are there any other courses of action you wish they would have taken in the midst of the COVID pandemic?
Oh gosh, I guess everybody could criticize, but by and large, it seems to have worked itself out fairly well. Shared with you the little story earlier about stay calm and soldier on, and that's very much. I can look out my door and I can see that.
Mm.
So every evening at 7 o'clock, I go out the front door of my house, and all my neighbors, all directions, are all out there beating their pots and pans to celebrate all the Filipino nurses who are at the local hospitals,
Wow.
providing care to anybody who needs it.
Wow. Wow.
Stay calm
That
and you
is.
stay calm. Is there more that could be done? I guess time will tell us that. But when you look at the response from the federal, provincial, and municipal governments, and a system fairly similar to what you have in the Philippines. You have a federal government, you have a regional or provincial governments, and you have municipal governments. So the program is somewhat similar, actually fairly similar. The support from those levels of government has really been a very wide net. So they have supported employers and employees, senior citizens, vulnerable people in separated communities, all sorts of things like that. Even students who are unable to get summer jobs.
Mm.
And it's, again, as basic as saying we need to get from A to B. This is how we do it. We are moving fairly quickly to reopening our economy. In the part of the country that I'm in, we actually were the first to announce that we would be reopening the economy. And our neighbors were virtually hours behind us. We have a 5-phase program to start up the economy. It's quite methodical and it's very cautious, but we're about to enter into phase 3, which allows for opening up of larger public gatherings and so forth. So all of those things together show that governments are providing support to the people that need that support, but also recognizing that we need to get back to business. And we're moving in that direction. And at the same time, we're very, I think, aware that if the second wave does hit, we're positioned to handle that.
So, are there any questions or concerns on your mind that weren't answered in the video? Well, if there are any, just leave a comment with your question below, and we'll be gathering your questions and answering them in one of our future videos, so stay tuned. If you haven't already, please do subscribe to our channel to be updated with immigration news in Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. This has been Hank Badwell, wishing you a good day. See you next week, and remember, stay safe, stay sane, and stay informed.